Good morning, and welcome to Early Nerd Live. I'm Steve, your host, the Early Nerd. And as always, I'm talking quietly because if we wake up Mrs. Early Nerd, then we're all in trouble. Now, this morning we're going to talk about Tetris, the Taron Egerton movie on Apple TV. There will be spoilers ahead, so if you have not seen it and don't wish it to be spoiled, then maybe you might want to watch this video later. Uh, the movie opens up with Taron Egerton playing Hank Rogers, the CEO of a games company who uh, buys the rights to a Russian game called Tetris way back in the day. It was like mid 80s, I think, was when it came out. And it was created by a Russian computer guy named Alexei. I can't remember what his last name was right offhand. I wouldn't even know if I'd be able to pronounce it. But he acquires the rights from from a Mirrorsoft representative. Mirrorsoft was run by a guy named Kevin Maxwell, uh, and his father. Um, they and he begins producing this game. Um, a lot of different stuff ensues, and it ends up almost literally being a Cold War espionage type flick. Now, it was really, really good. A lot of suspense. The movie kept you on your toes. I enjoyed it a lot. It is definitely one of the better movies that I've seen recently. Um, I think it was a better movie than Mario. I liked it more than Mario, is what I mean by that. Uh, Hank lives in Japan and is trying to secure the rights for Nintendo throughout the movie. And a lot of back and forth with the Russian government and a communist official. We even see Mikhail Gorbachev. If any of you know who he was the last premier of the Soviet Union, I believe, right before the fall of communism in Russia. Now, for those of you that don't remember the Cold War, real quick, I'm only going to touch on it briefly. There was a big rivalry between the United States being a capitalist society and the Soviet Union being a communist society. Now, the Soviet Union was hemorrhaging money for years, and just hemorrhaging money. When the Soviet Union collapsed, it was $66 billion in debt. Um, so, which is one of the main reasons why it collapsed. It couldn't function anymore. As we all know the end of the story, Nintendo did end up acquiring the rights to Tetris. I mean, I'm sure you've played it. Everybody's played Tetris. It's one of the most popular game, back then. Um, there's so much to the movie. There's so many underlying layers of intrigue and espionage that went on at the time. Now, this is based on a true story. However, how much of the actual movie is true other than the characters and the basics of what happened, I'm not sure. I do know that the Maxwells ended up getting into a lot of trouble. Kevin Maxwell uh, was charged with fraud, and but I think he avoided prison time. Um, his father was had was deceased, and of course Hank did end up securing the rights to Tetris for Nintendo. Um, the movie goes pretty pretty quick. Um, it kind of starts off a little bit slow, but that's okay. Give it a few minutes. Once it gets going, it goes fast, and I was literally on the edge of my seat watching this movie. We had to pause so a friend of mine that was watching it with me could go get a drink out of his ice chest, and I was like, "Oh my God, no! I don't want to stop," because it was that good. The uh, it basically came down to a bidding war between Mirrorsoft, um, Toby Jones's character, I can't remember the guy's name, and Hank Rogers. And Russia ended up selling the rights to Nintendo for $1 per unit sold royalties and $1 million in cash, I think. I could be wrong. I'm kind of still trying to wake up here. Sorry, y'all. I'm running a little bit late today. It does happen. Now, uh, I am really trying hard not to give you any kind of real spoiler, so that way you at least will watch the movie. Um, but it is definitely worth a watch if you have Apple TV or have access to it. It is something to watch. Like I said, it's one of the better movies I've seen. Excuse me. Now, the Russian government gets involved, obviously, because I mean that's who they're buying it from is literally the Russian government, and or the Soviet government. Excuse me, the Soviet government and the Russian government are two different things, two different countries technically. Um, and so there's a lot of like I said, a lot of espionage involved. Uh, Taron Egerton hooks up with a spy at the very beginning. She poses as a translator, and I called it too. I called it out. I was like, "No, she's a spy. She looks too good. She's too pretty." And sure enough, I was right. She was a spy. Uh, well, maybe not necessarily a spy, but a KGB agent. And she's the one that actually saves uh, Nintendo's bid. Um, and watch the movie to find out how. That's all I can tell you because I really don't want to give any spoilers, like I said. But the movie, like I keep saying, is definitely worth a watch. So when you have some time, turn on your Apple TV, grab some popcorn, and watch Tetris. Toby Jones is fantastic, as always. I mean, it's Toby Jones. Come on, you guys. He's such a great actor. He plays his part really well. Taron Egerton. I've only seen him in Kingsman, um, but he was fantastic in this movie, and he was really rocking an '80s prawn stash. Oh my God, it looked great. Um, most of the other actors are Russian actors. There are some Japanese actors. Um, the guy that plays the lawyer for Nintendo, I can't remember what his name is, but he's one of those, oh yeah, that guy actors. You'll see him and you'll be like, oh yeah, I remember that dude. You know, um, the guy that plays Alexei, the guy that actually created the game, was a fantastic actor. I don't know what his name is right offhand. I guess before I did this video, I should have pulled up the cast and had their list of their names in front of me so I could have read them out properly. But there was no agenda of any kind in this movie, which was refreshing. Um, the story ended on a good note, obviously. Uh, um, Hank was end up paid uh, $5 million by Nintendo for his efforts in securing them the rights for this game. Um, so happy ending there. Uh, but I think that's about it for today. I'm a little tired. It's hard to kind of think straight. I should have got up earlier, had some more coffee. But it is definitely worth a watch. So make some time and watch it. You'll enjoy it. So whether you're going to work or going to school, be careful out there. And as always, I love you guys. Bye bye now.